Today I'm reviewing two power supply units which were provided free by Thermaltake for an unbiased review, namely the Toughpower GF1 ARGB 650W 80+ Gold and the Toughpower PF1 ARGB 850W 80+ Platinum power supplies. But the question is, am I going to sell out just because they were provided for free? Will I give them 5 stars and tell you to buy because you should blindly trust this face? Well, let's take it out. Hey name tags and welcome. This is Ash from My Tech, helping you build a better relationship with technology. So if you're new here, consider subscribing and click the bell icon to go from newbie to techie. All products mentioned will have Amazon affiliate links below in the description. Quick unboxing first. Let's start with the Toughpower GF1 ARGB 650W 80+ Gold. This is advertised as being able to deliver continuous wattage of 650 watt when under load, as opposed to just peak or total wattage, which is what you want in a quality power supply. This box is the EU version, in which you will find a 2-pin AC power cord. Here is problem number 1, although a minor one, as in UK we use standard 3-pin kettle plugs, which was not included, but luckily I have spares. The main unit is a fully modular SMPS, and at the back you will find the same information as on the back of the box. The case is all black, fully metallic and feels heavy, which is usually a good indication of quality components. There is a main power on off switch, a user-friendly switch to enable ultra quiet smart zero fan, which if enabled only kicks in if the workload goes above somewhere between 30 or 40%. Otherwise you can have it set to off to spin all the time. This can be handy if you want to micromanage fan noise. Here is a sound test of the SMPS only if you are interested. There are also 2 additional buttons to manually change lighting modes and colors. Included is a standard instruction manual in different languages, the main power supply unit, which is fully modular, and all the cables you need to connect to the motherboard and peripherals. 1 main 24-pin power connector, 1 8-pin 12V ATX CPU plug, 2 8-pin PCIe connectors, 3 SATA connectors, 1 4-pin Molex connector, 1 floppy adapter, some zip ties, and 4 standard screws to mount the PSU to the case. Plus points for the sleek all-black cables as opposed to standard rainbow-colored ones. There is also an ARGB sync cable included, which in theory should allow you to connect to the motherboard using software like Mystic Light 3 from MSI to sync all your RGB devices. I say in theory because yeah, there were some complications for this motherboard. We'll get to that later. So this is a standard fully modular SMPS. Depending on your situation, you may want to connect one end of the various cables onto the PSU before you install into your case, as it can be a pain to try and clip those connectors in a dark, small space. The Toughpower PF1 ARGB 850W 80+ contains similar components with just more cables, obviously being a higher wattage PSU. This video will focus on the 650W version. I will do a different 850W later for reasons to come. Today I'm replacing a Corsair CX750M semi-modular power supply with the Toughpower GF1 ARGB 650W 80+ Gold. You might be wondering why I'm reducing the wattage. Well, I'm not. The previous CX750M was just something I had already in my possession, and if you need to know exactly how much wattage you need for your build, just use an online calculator and you will be good to go. If you need a tutorial on that, just let me know in the comments below. After installation, I put it through a Prime 95 torture test, which passed. Normally, I tend to mount PSUs with the fan facing down, but in this case, because of the LED, I am mounting it facing up. Cable management will depend on your case, but connecting all the cables to the motherboard and peripherals is a standard procedure. Here is where I found problem number 2. The included ARGB sync cable is meant to be connected to a J rainbow header on the motherboard, which unfortunately the MSI B450 Tomahawk does not have. This motherboard has what I always thought to be standard 12V JRGB headers, and that's the other thing, maybe problem number 3. This PSU does not support 12V RGB headers, but only 5V ARGB headers. I struggled with this for a while, and after browsing some forums, it turns out this is an issue as only certain high-end motherboards have these specific J rainbow headers. To be fair, on Thermaltake's website, there is a list of specific compatible motherboards, and while the MSI B450 Gaming Pro Carbon AC is supported, the B450 Tomahawk unfortunately is not. Maybe a workaround is to get what's called an addressable RGB controller like this one from Asus, but at $80 this is a no-no for me. So that means I will not be able to synchronize the RGB with other RGB components, but you can still manually change the mode across 8 lighting modes, which are wave, spiral, flow, heartbeat, ripple, full lighted, spectrum, or off. You can also cycle through different color modes by pressing the color button at the back. Time for some thoughts and conclusion. The Thermaltake Toughpower series are certainly designed with quality components and seem to deliver on their promise of energy efficiency and low noise levels. They are certainly not budget PSUs for the average PC builder who are not interested in RGB lighting, and these babies are meant to be displayed in nice transparent boxes to showcase a symphony of RGB lights. If you're looking for a 650W gold rated or a 850W platinum rated fully modular PSU, there are cheaper good quality alternatives without the RGB, of course. It appears that Thermaltake does not have competition in the RGB PSU market, hence their patented 16.8 million color 18 LED RGB fan. What a mouthful. Additionally, many cases now come with shrouds to cover both PSU and their cables, and some other cases have the PSU mounted at the back, so RGB in PSUs would be of no relevance in those cases, pun intended. And lastly, you would need to mount the PSU with the fan facing upwards for optimum RGB look. However, if you did mount it facing downwards, you would still get a more discreet RGB glow underneath the case. If you're obsessed with PSU fan facing direction and optimum airflow, consult a doctor. In my case, it is certainly a mismatched array of RGB components, as the GPU is a Sapphire RX 580 with default blue LED only. You can use software like Nitro Glow from Sapphire to change color scheme. I wish I had a supported motherboard to synchronize the RGB lights, but it is what it is, since this build was not a fully calculated one, but rather an unplanned upgrade as part of my One PC to Rule Them All Challenge series. The motherboard and AMD Prism cooler can be RGB synchronized through the Mystic Light 3 MSI software, but I wasn't able to properly sync them as I didn't find the software very intuitive, and I couldn't get the Natural Glow to work in sync as well. So I left each RGB component to cycle through close to their default setting for now. This case is the Fractal Design Define R5 Black Pearl, and I reached out to Fractal Design to kindly send me a transparent side panel, as I initially bought the non-windowed version, which they did, so thank you Fractal Design. Like I mentioned, I am working with what I have, and RGB lighting was never a priority for this build, which is why I will leave the 850W for another planned build to properly make use of the aesthetics of all the RGB components. So the big question, should you buy them? To be absolutely honest and transparent, I never prioritize looks over performance, and my case is always placed away from my site, so I would never pay more just for RGB features alone. However, if you are after this synchronized RGB look across your components inside your case, then yes, I think it's absolutely worth it. Thermaltake seems to deliver on their advertised features in these Toughpower series, and I believe there is no competition in the PSU RGB market. Right now is Black Friday week, so definitely check out deals, as paying full price may not be the best bang for your buck. Additionally, there are other products from Thermaltake which are also RGB featured, so if you have the money and you are good with visual aesthetics for PC case design, then consider checking their line of products. I want to thank Thermaltake for allowing me this opportunity to review these two power supplies. I also want to apologize to Thermaltake publicly, since they sent me these power supplies about 4 months ago, but unfortunately, as you may be aware, I had major family issues for 2 months, and straight after that I moved to a new location, so it's been a real challenge to get this video out. Hopefully no more issues and no more delays from now on, but life is always precarious. never say never. If you're looking to build your first PC or upgrade your existing PC, I have put together a full series design for the beginner called One PC to Rule Them All, to also triple boot Windows, Linux and Mac OS. Go check it out down here, and also this video up here for more tech help videos. Like and subscribe, use my Amazon affiliate links. This was Ash from Hill My Tech, helping you go from newbie to techie. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.